You know, more and more of these movies are getting such a big review divide from critics and audience critics. The Red Notice is the hype that's been coming around, and you know, it is a very enjoyable movie. I'm not gonna lie, with problems, of course. But let's start it off. Red Notice is there's like this art thief. There's always an art thief. An art thief that is trying to steal over the 3 eggs of Cleopatra that are worth like priceless. Two are known locations and the other has never been discovered before. So they employ these police to investigate them. And things happen and tumbles and turns and jokes are cracked. And eventually the police and the villain are working together for a majority of the movie. Now, if you look at the reviews, if you just go to the review section, you'll have this around the 90s in like audience score, and you have it like in the 30s for the critic score, and you're like, because ironically, and this will hurt some people, the audience score is usually more accurate than the critic score. And this isn't always used to be the case. And this isn't always the case. But I do think, from my final rating, the audience score of like around 90% is closer than the critic score of 30%. 30% is not a 3 out of 10. No, it's not this. A movie can't. Okay, that's a lie. Junk can become popular, but usually not to that caliber. And we'll explain in a bit. Honestly, The Red Notice has great screen chemistry between the two main actors that are being played, Dwayne Johnson and the other one, and Ryan Reynolds. Sorry, I had to look that up. Not really, but I'm not gonna lie, they play really well together. They play really well together, and it's really like refreshing because usually you kind of feel like maybe it's just their prowess as actors, but I really felt each actor, not even just the main characters, the villains, plural, like every character that had prominent speaking roles, I really felt cohesive and wasn't cringy, asterisk, or terrible like at all. And I really think it was very strong. Now, of course, the story itself was like your average heist movie, kind of like Fast and Furious, but better, if it makes sense. Like, same premise, lots of explosions, lots of stunts, but more realistic and not as bad of quality of a movie. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the plot is small. It's small. I mean, like, I don't really usually like movies that have small plots, but I kind of forgot it had a small plot. Like, watching it, you're just into it, and then you realize, like, in hindsight, you're like, oh, this plot is like barely, like, it took a couple brain cells to come up with a plot. Oh, the eggs of Cleopatra. Like, literally the beginning scene took much thought. And I don't mind it that much, Usually if it's a low thought movie, low effort, like, idea, like, Fast and Furious, like, usually it kind of suffers more from it. But for this one, it didn't. It was able to make a small plot really entertaining. Now, of course, I'm not going to lie and tell you it's a 9 out of 10, like the audience critics are. Audience critics have their problems as well. But it's definitely worth a watch, and maybe, like, even, it's just a 7 out of 10, honestly. It's a solid 7. Like, I almost picked 7.5, but it's just, it has a few issues, like the twists are good, but it kind of feels like, I don't know, it was kind of just like, like, one of them makes sense, but the other was like, oh, really, they're just trying to make it, like, shocking to be shocking, like, not because it's been set up slowly, like, because this, but not because it's been set up slowly and, like, you had the anticipation, all the clues were in front of you all along, but they tried to tie one thing to, like, one of the big twists, and then the other one was, like, just out of nowhere. There's no evidence that led to believe that the other one was even a twist, like, that could be feasible. But, either way, I think it's worth a watch. The critics are stupid, like how they usually have been. honestly, if it isn't about anything that honestly, critics, if they want a movie about what they want it to be, they should just make the movie, because at this point, they're not criticizing movies based on the quality. They're criticizing them based on what they thought should have been the movie, because that's what the critics have been saying about this movie. But either way, catch you in the next one.